Joseph, India is privatizing some key assets. Why should investors care?
They should care because India needs the money. It has a fairly large fiscal deficit, looming about 4.8% of GDP. That's the target they need to meet. If they don't meet that target, India's credit rating is in danger of being junked. That matters for investors in Indian government bonds, which is a fairly large asset in emerging markets debt, because if that is junked, they can't get into indices and so on. For equity investors, though, it is worth looking at how the privatization process has changed in India over the years and actually what assets they're selling.
So we're having a yard sale. What's the first item on the table?
It's a very topical one, actually. The first asset for sale is an Indian private bank, India's third largest by assets, called Axis Bank, where the government has just arranged for foreign banks to sell off a 10% stake. It owns about a fifth.
Now, you've recommended in the past in the Lex column that investors should seriously consider putting money into the State Bank of India, which is insane. Is this?
I think that's still half crazy. But the problem with State Bank of India is, it's foreigners can't really hold very much of it. Whereas obviously with the sale of Axis Bank, they can get more of it. Or it's quite possible that another fast-growing private bank in India, like HDFC, might take up that stake as well, and you can get exposure that way. So this asset is very open to foreign investment, essentially.
So if that's the good asset, right, what else is up for sale?
Yeah, the other thing about Indian privatization is that it can be quite protracted and it can be quite close to foreign investment. And so the Indian government is also selling off a larger stake in Hindustan Zinc, which is a miner. Price tag about $2.5 billion, which is fairly big, but foreigners can't really get a big slice of that. It's been a decade-long really battle for Vedanta Resources to really kind of take that stake. It wants the cash from Hindustan Zinc, essentially. And while the government is selling Hindustan Zinc in an auction, it's very likely that it will just go to Vedanta.
So conditions aren't ripe for them to get a good price? Is that the upshot here?
It has such a history and it's been such a long time. Vedanta has been circling Hindustan Zinc for some time. It's really, that's really quite a big story in Indian privatization. It can be very labyrinth and it depends on who you know, not just what you know or what you want.
Right, so there's good privatization and bad privatization, and investors should be looking for the good stuff.
Yeah, the stuff which is, in particular open to foreigners, I think. That's a good rule.
Thanks very much, Joseph.